Hello, everybody. Annoyingly, last night's webinar did not record. That's a cat who doesn't like me anymore. The very first thing I shared with them was our new Overcome Anxiety program. So I'm going to do a screen share and I'm going to show that to you now. We have got two identical, nearly identical platforms for the Overcome Anxiety program. So here's what this is. The Overcome Anxiety program is something that I delivered live in person in 2019. And I did that in the basement at the office with 13 children who went through what is a 10-week program, so 1 hour every week. It's a program that we ordinarily offer to schools to help children who have anxiety issues. And for our practitioners, so what you need to know is it's in the education brochure and it tells you week by week what content you are delivering. Now, when I did this in 2019, I also did it, it coincided with a study that I was doing with Our Healthy Future, who are based at Alder Children's Hospital. They provided me with something called the RCADS, which is the Revised Children's Anxiety and Depression Scale. And that helped me to be able to measure the children's anxiety levels before they started the program. Then we did our 10 weeks together, and then we did the questionnaire again so that we could see how their anxiety levels had changed. And the good news was their anxiety levels had changed positively in that they'd reduced, as had their depression. Now, because it was such a small group, there were only 13 of them, it was classed as a pilot study, and it was, I guess, like, that's good. Now we need to do it on a bigger scale, so it's more like a real study. So what I'm doing now is the real study, but I'm not doing it in the basement anymore because I'm not doing the delivery live. This time around, I have taken each piece of content from those 10 weeks and recorded it into a video, a training video for 8 to 11-year-olds that they will go through each week. And it's got the questionnaire built into it already. So they do the questionnaire before they start doing the 10-week program. They do the questionnaire again after doing the 10-week program, and we get to measure the difference in their anxiety levels. Now, the reason why there are two groups is because for this study, to make it more proper as a study, there is also a control group. So with the control group, it runs slightly differently in that they're going to do their initial questionnaire about their anxiety levels, and then they're going to do nothing for 10 weeks. So we don't give them access to the videos for 10 weeks. We ask them to do the questionnaire again at the end of that 10-week period, and we get to see, did their anxiety just naturally change on its own? Did it improve all by itself? In which case, we know that 10 weeks of the Overcome Anxiety program really wasn't the thing that made anybody feel any better. It would have happened naturally over a 10-week period anyway. Obviously, there's a little bit of me that's hoping that for those 10 weeks, they don't get better, but that those in the Overcome Anxiety program who get the videos do get better after 10 weeks. So what we're doing for those that go into the control group, which is the group where they don't receive the materials straight away and they have the 10-week wait, I'm going to give them the materials anyway after that 10-week wait. So they'll still get the intervention that will, with any luck, make a really positive improvement on their anxiety levels. So let me show you inside as to what things look like. So in one of our groups, when you come in, you will see is that there is a little note for parents about important things for them to know. And there is the questionnaire for the children to do. And then this particular group is actually the control group. Now, it doesn't look like this when people log in. I'll show you in just a second. This is like the back end. This is what it looks like from my preview end. So as you can see down here on the right hand side, we've got drip, 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 drip. And basically what that means is the content isn't going to get released straight away. So the very first thing that our children have got access to, children do this first. So this is going to be our first questionnaire, 25 questions to measure your anxiety. And when we click through and look at it, it tells them all about the questionnaire and explains any perhaps slightly unusual, tricky wording that's in there. And as you can see, they go through and select the various different options after popping in their initials and their year group. All right, so that's how they do the questionnaire. So for this group, they receive their second questionnaire after 63 days. The reason why it's 63 days and not 70, which would be 7 days times by 10 weeks, so that would be one video every week, is because actually the first video is released at the same time as doing the questionnaire. So your week 1 video is released on the first day of week 1, and your second video is released 7 days later. And then your third video is released 14 days later. So it's the same once this group have gone through their second questionnaire, then basically they'll get the first video straight away, and then every video is 7 days spaced apart thereafter. When they get to week 10, there is in here a third questionnaire. Now, I actually don't need this data necessarily for this group. I'm most interested in, did their anxiety improve itself after that period of time waiting with no videos to help them? But it might still be interesting to see, okay, well, here's what their results were from the very first questionnaire. Here's what their results were after a, let's call it a 10-week wait. And then they got the videos. Did things improve for them? So it's going to give me some extra information that I don't necessarily need as part of the study. Okay, and this is how things look for the other group. It looks almost exactly the same, except, so for this group here, they do their very first questionnaire. There it is. Then immediately, they also have access to their very first video. So that happens straight away. And then we can see we've got drip, 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 drip. Every video then comes out to them 1 week spaced apart from each other. So every week they get a new video, and they don't get access to it until those number of days have passed. In the 10th week, they have their final video and they have their final questionnaire. So for this group, what we're measuring is to see, is there a difference between their first questionnaire and 10 weeks of video watching? So basically, I can then measure what's the difference between 10 weeks of watching the videos versus 10 weeks of not watching the videos. And what we're hoping for is that those who get 10 weeks of videos have a greater positive change on their anxiety levels. So what this platform looks like in real life is like this. Now, when you are first logged in, so if you're a parent or you're passing this program on to somebody else, you won't see all of this content straight away. This is because, as you can see, I'm currently in preview mode, so I get to see everything that I've published. But in reality, when you log in, you will see parents' important things to know. Children do this questionnaire first, and then one group is going to see the week 1 video there, and everything else will say coming soon. So it won't show up because it only gets made available as that time passes. For the other group, which is the first group I told you about, they're going to have parents, important things to know, children, do this questionnaire first, and then everything else will say coming soon. They won't have access to the videos straight away. The very next thing that they get will be a repeat of this questionnaire, because remember, for that group, we're testing, did anything happen after 10 weeks of no videos? This group here is the one which is testing, did anything positive happen after 10 weeks of having videos? So this is what the platform realistically looks like once all of the content has been released. But as you're working through it as a member, you'll most often see coming soon written in these areas with no images there, because the content hasn't yet been released. It will be released in the subsequent weeks that are coming up. So with this study, it's really important for NLP for Kids because it's an opportunity for us to prove scientifically that actually we're making a statistical difference to somebody's anxiety levels. This is being done in conjunction with a university. It's gone through ethics approval. So yeah, we're doing it proper. And I think that it's going to be something that's really valuable for the schools that you're reaching out to, maybe as a backup to some of the work that you're doing with children and families. And the plan is for those who sign up to go through this process with us right now, we're giving them lifetime access to these videos for free. Okay, so it's free to go through this study and to access this material. Once I've got as much data as I need, which is 50 children who have completed, 25 of them will be randomly allocated to the group that receives the videos, and 25 of them will be randomly allocated to the group that has a 10-week wait before they get the videos. So once I've got 25 in each group and they've gone through the process entirely, if they do that, they will retain that lifetime access to the platform. They won't have to keep doing the questionnaires going forward. And then we're going to turn this into a product. So after this, it will be sold. It won't be sold with questionnaires involved because I won't be collecting data at that point, but we will be selling the video series on a 10-week drip feed, and the only way to get it for free is to be part of the study. So the children need to be aged between 8 and 11 years of age. They need to have anxiety, and ideally not going through any other interventions, because that might skew the results and we won't know what actually has made the difference for them. But if they are, then they are. I'm not going to sort of police that too heavily and say that they can't join in. If they are currently 7, then they are not old enough. If they are currently 12, they are too old. All right, so it's for 8 to 11-year-olds. If they are any older or any younger, they will be excluded. They won't receive access to the platform. And I don't know what the price point will be for when we do turn this into a product, which will probably be around sort of March, April time next year that takes place. But yeah, that will be happening. So I'm going to encourage you to spread this and share it far and wide. The place to go to be able to do that is nlpforkids.org.uk/study. So you're going to nlpforkids.org.uk/study. It will take the person who is signing up to a page that looks like this. So it basically says a lot of what I've just said here. Now it tells them a little bit about the pilot study as well. It tells you about the different groups. When they click submit, it triggers a few emails to come out, some of which for some people are going to go into their spam folder. So they must check their spam or promotions folder, or if you're a Hotmail user, it's your other folder. The info may go in there, and that is going to contain the login to the online platform, and it will let them know which group they're in, whether they're in group A or group B. Then from there, we send out some sort of further emails over the course of the next few weeks, just to remind people to log back in and continue watching videos, or to get their next questionnaire done when that period of time comes around. It's pretty straightforward. It's random. I don't know who's going into what group. I have no say over it. So that way it really is a clean test of how the process is working and how the intervention is working. Is there anything else I need to tell you about it? I don't think so. I think that's pretty much the size and shape of how it all works. All the policy stuff is listed down here if you want more information about that. And yeah, that's it. It is exciting. There you go. Thanks so much for watching. And remember to share the Overcome Anxiety program, 8 to 11 years old, anxious, share it with schools, share it with parents, and let's get that data in so that we can prove that what we do really does make a tangible, important difference to young people's lives. Thank you very much. Bye.